Is geoengineered transhumanism a coordinated effort to transform humanity through environmental manipulation and technological integration? Proponents argue that certain technologies are being employed to alter human biology and consciousness. Time to face a post-human global society, here on Things Visible and Invisible. The last time we met, you talked a lot about chemtrails and got us very interested in that and the whole connection with, I suppose, what we term the deep state. But you also tantalizingly gave us some indication of where your researches have led you, and that is the whole area of geoengineered transhumanism. It's a bit of a mouthful, so could we start with a definition? What is geoengineered transhumanism?
To me, what it is signifying is that we all know, we've all heard the term transhumanism bandied about, and it's been made to sound there's the term singularity, there's the idea that you're being enhanced, that you're going to be stronger, you're going to be smarter, you're going to have all these enhancements, some of which are material, perhaps some sorts of devices that are in your body that make you smarter. But really, that's not at all what's in the idea for the common person. What's in mind for the common person is a sort of a technocratic feudalism would be what I'd say. And meanwhile, then you have the elites, the people that own the resources who come from actual lineages that are still cooking after hundreds, if not thousands of years. And these people have a great deal of power, as you can see in the American governance going on now under Mr. Trump. We have sort of a public-private partnership going on. That's what they like to call it. That's where you have the corporate and the political joining forces. And I don't know. I've certainly never trusted that idea. I vaguely remember that it was sort of in World War II in Germany. So I got very interested in that aspect when I was thinking about how they would be geoengineering, using the geoengineering with the chemicals that are coming down. We know they're chemicals. We know it's barium, strontium, aluminum, chromium, lithium, all sorts of chemicals from the periodic table. And most of them are metals, and most of them are in nano size. Remember, a billionth of a meter. So obviously, Big Pharma, as I call it, it's a cartel. This goes all the way back to I.G. Farben in World War I, and then in World War II, and then I.G. Farben sort of split up into Bayer and all of these other chemical corporations. So, okay, there's the chemical. Then there's the mechanical in the sense of nano-technology is definitely in this. We have been, you can't see a nano, but you can see it operating in a phalanx format. One place which will probably surprise you is in the forest fires and some of the drone footage of the forest fires that went on in California, and not just over here, but in Portugal as well. In fact, the fires in Portugal seemed to be in tandem with the earlier fires in 2017 in California. Then we saw the Maui fire. We see these fires, but in some of the footage, you can actually see that there are things crawling across the pavement in between burning embers from both sides of the highway. And they seem to be directed to crawl up certain houses and set them on fire, and other houses they're not. That's what I call cherry picking the people that you want to lose something so that you can keep the people who you don't want to lose something. And that has, to me, that has to do with geoengineering society and through taking their homes and then having cheap real estate deals going on for those who want to make money from the real estate and sell it for more profit. So it's very interlaced with the technocracy that is taking over everything in this country. So that's kind of how I look at geoengineering transhumanism as well, that you have the jabs going on of the so-called CV-19, etc. You have boosters. You have lots of things now through the controlled media sound like rumors because you don't know whether to believe it or not because the media lies consistently. So, we're in this very awful trap where something is being done to us. We all feel it, but you can't quite put your finger on it. And so one of the things they keep from the public as much as possible is geoengineering. You hardly ever see that word. In fact, I still meet people in America who have never heard the term or never listened to it anyway. So that transhumanism, yes, it's going to change us genetically and electromagnetically is how I look at it. And the electromagnetic part is too complex to go into at this point. But yes, that's the geoengineering that is already happening. We know people who have titanium hips. We know people who are getting implants into their teeth. We know about all these sort of embedded things that are going on. But what I'm talking about is actually changing the species itself. And that is being done from the sky. On one hand, it's like a two-pronged assault, and the other through the inoculation. And where did this come from? Well, the idea of transhumanism has been around since the Greeks. The idea of a separate, different species of humanity. But now we have a very technological idea of it. And part of the reasoning in that, I have decided, and this is completely me, I know the history of the so-called moon landings and the role of the military in that, which really never happened, because we can't get beyond the Van Allen belts. They tried to atomically and nuclear bomb it to death in order to open a passageway off the planet. But all that happened is they created yet another belt that we would have to get through. So how are we going to get off planet to go and do the secret space program, to be in space, to go to Mars, to go this and that are constantly lied about and fantasized about? Well, we're going to need either we're going to need to wear lead suits, or we're going to have a very different body that is not as vulnerable as the Homo sapiens God-given body. So that's kind of how I see it. Is I just didn't know that we would get the first message about that from the jabs that began 5 years ago. That was a surprise, and it's taken me time. And I'm not the only one pursuing this. By far, thousands of us are pursuing this. I attend a meeting weekly of microscopists, doctors, and medical personnel who, on their own time and their own dime, are looking through very wonderful microscopes like dark field microscopes, electron microscopes, in order to see this tiny world that now in the human blood looks very very concerning at the very least, because our blood is now filled with all sorts of entities that have to do with synthetic biology, which is why I'm writing the synthetic biology book, is to take at least a close look from just a citizen point of view. I mean, I'm smart, but I'm not a scientist, but I know how to study, and I pick things up quite well. So that's what what I'm doing now is trying to nail down the relationship of the synthetic biology to the transhumanism and to the geoengineering.
Now, as on the last time we talked, Elena, we started with one thing. I think it was chemtrails on the last occasion, and we went into a whole world view. And again, geoengineering, transhumanism, you've kind of opened a Pandora's box almost, where there's many threads, many facets to this.
Yes.
I mean, what you're exploring here, I think, in all your research is not so much one phenomena, but a worldview or an understanding of humanity as it is today. Is that a fair estimate, that what you're really engaged with here is a kind of battle of ideas about what's real, what's unreal, and what's hidden and what should be better known?
I'd go further than that. I would say that what we are undergoing now is a change of the ages, and I'm thrilled to be here for it. Uh, Certainly, science is absolutely changing amazingly. It is not Newtonian anymore. It is not Einsteinian anymore. No, this is all Tesla stuff. This is all Tesla stuff, which is why the Serbians, a Serbian publishing company, asked me if they could translate one of my books, because I'm the only author they know of who is attempting to tell how the West has weaponized Tesla's technology. So, I felt very honored by that, and I'll be leaving in another 10 days for the Tesla Tech conference in New Mexico, where I am the keynote speaker, to just talk about my vantage point of looking at Tesla, what he wanted. He wanted free energy for people. He had great ideas, and then he suddenly realized that everything he was bringing out was being weaponized by the West. And so he shut up. And then he died in poverty. And all of his research materials, lo and behold, were given to an engineer named John Trump, the uncle of the present president of the United States. Now, you can call that a coincidence, but I don't. And beside Mr. Trump has been, up until recently, Elon Musk, Mr. Let's Go to Mars, and the boy wonder, I call him. So there's the secret space program is always around us, but because it's not addressed in the media, we do not recognize it. I would say what I'm doing is trying to, on the very pedestrian level, trying to bring the geoengineering piece into the discussion of, for example, Stargate AI, that Trump has recently made a billions of dollars deal with Silicon Valley. And I know exactly what that is, or I think I do, that it has to do with shutting down. We're all in mind control city here. All those years I spent studying MK Ultra have really paid off, unfortunately, in very much now, because we are all having to protect our own consciousness to remain as individual as we think we are. So there is so much going on that most people are just freaked out, burying their heads, hoping the storm passes over them, just like in the Old Testament. But I am leaping to the fore to at least present the possibilities, because that's how my thinking works, is in big pictures. And now I see which direction we are going.
Well, just on that, because listening to and having looked at some of your work, I mean, you're right. You could get very depressed about this because it paints a very bleak picture of the world we live in. Of an overworked word, but the word dystopia does come to mind, and that seems to be where we're heading.
Yeah.
I mean, where, if anywhere, do you find glimpses of hope or optimism that this trajectory could actually be changed?
Well, I think there we're gonna have to part the waters, because I believe I'm a student of Rudolf Steiner, have been for 45, 50 years. And I find he was a physicist primarily, and then he was also clairvoyant and a mystic from birth and that sort of thing. So he did so many things, so much. I'm so grateful that he's my trail guide, is how I look at him. And what I see, it's like at the beginning of the jab period in 2020. I don't know if you remember, but there were a couple of doctors who came forward. Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt, very great German doctor, and I'm blocking his name right now, Tom Cowan, who both talked about what Rudolf Steiner said 100 years ago, that there would someday be doctors and scientists who would put together a vaccine that when you took it, you would no longer think of spiritual things and silly things like the soul. And I'm afraid we're there. And I know that Steiner felt as his life, he was killed early, but he changed at a certain point. He realized that the evil of this era that we were entering in the 21st century, that we would have to really be pretty sharp cookies in order to deal with it, in order first to recognize it, because it would come in the name of science, it would come in the name of many good things. And that discernment, that spiritual discernment, is very difficult for the Westerner, who's very pragmatic and very rational, and likes to, is sort of egocentric in the sense of a very young individualism that we all have to some degree. So how are we going to get through that? Well, that's where I come in with my idea that you have to have an inner life for this kind of work. I have a very big inner life. I don't mean a meditation regime and doing special things. I mean, just in my consciousness in general, every day, I carry the weight of humanity because, of course, we are all human beings. We are all Homo sapiens. And I now realize that we might lose that Homo sapiens. We might lose it. And that threat is serious. And so I'm trying to alert people without, just broadcasting fear. But I don't have any fear. What I have is an indomitable will to at least expose what is really going on so that people can make their own moral decisions about how their lifestyle is, how their thinking is, what they're doing for recreation, all those things. I think it's a tremendous opportunity right now when it is kind of scary that we realize, wow, I cannot assume that all this is going to be kept going.
Yeah.
I need to get involved in it. I am a human being, and I love to be a human being. Yes, there are bad human beings. There are couch potatoes who do nothing. Yes, all of the above is true. But the greats, I mean, I spent my childhood as an only child reading tremendously about the biographies and autobiographies of great individuals because I wanted to be one. That was very much on my mind when I was 7 years old. So that's how I see it. Is I don't get depressed. Yes, I've had my moments when I sit here and weep because the cruelty of this evil and the subtlety of it is extraordinary. But then I just wipe my tears and get back to work. And I invite everyone to do that with me because it gives you a life that means something. And we may never be at such a crossroads again. This could be it. As all the people around me in my apartment building, a lot of them talk about the end time. Well, yes, something is ending and something is beginning. What will it be like for people, for younger people than myself? So, do the best we can now and call a spade, not to be afraid, and really read the news in a different way.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, this is the end time for us. We have come to the end of this all too brief introduction to some of your thought, thinking, and the fruit of your research around this. Tell people where they can find out more about you, the work you do, and also pick up a copy of one of your many books.
So I have what's the word? Well, anyway, I don't have a website anymore. So I will again sometime, but not now. And I do a Patreon site. I was just banned for life by Facebook. No surprise there. And so the Patreon site, Elana Freeland Patreon, I comment on the news every morning, every day. And you can either pay or not pay. It really doesn't matter to me. So that is available. As far as the books, the Geoengineered Transhuman, which is the fourth book I just wrote and was brought out, is probably only available it's available at any bookstore you go to. In UK, it definitely is at Watkins. And in the US, you can go to any bookstore and they'll order it. So the other books, that is possibly true and maybe not, because I have a pretty spotty, I have one book that is under my copyright, which I really appreciate, Geoengineered Transhumanism, 650 pages, 60 color photographs. So please order from my good friend Frank, who runs a tiny bookstore in his backyard, the Rudolf Steiner bookstore in Seattle, Washington. Just look it up, you'll find it. And he carries everything I write, including my Sub Rosa America series, which is a fictional series about America since John Kennedy's assassination.
For now, Elana, thank you so much for coming on Things Visible and Invisible.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Things Visible and Invisible. We're dedicated to uncovering phenomena that challenge our understanding of reality, from ancient enigmas and paranormal encounters to scientific anomalies and forgotten histories. If you enjoyed this journey into the mysterious and unexplained, please consider subscribing to our channel and hitting the notification bell to stay updated on future explorations. Have a personal experience or story that aligns with our investigations? We'd love to hear from you. Visit our website at tvi.show and reach out through our contact form. While we can't feature every submission, we review them all, and your story might be featured in an upcoming episode. To support our continued investigations, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter or channel member. Your contributions make these explorations possible and give you access to exclusive content, early releases, and monthly behind-the-scenes discussions with our team. Don't forget to check out our merch store. We've got everything from TVI-branded t-shirts and hoodies to stickers and coffee mugs, perfect for showing your support while keeping the mysteries close. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time as we continue to explore the things visible and invisible.